What's going on, guys? I'm going to start off the video by introducing myself. I started playing Overwatch around right before Christmas 2016, and that's around the end of Season 2. I had about maybe 12 hours competitive time and maybe around 35 to 36 wins, which is nothing. My first placement placed me in mid gold, around 2200 season rating, which for me at the time was awesome. Season 2 ended with me being low platinum, even though my season high was 2900 something. And I have to be honest, I actually main Lucio at the time and got carried all the way up to almost diamond, then I solo queued down to the bottom again. And that was when I realized my skill level wasn't way up there just yet. Season 3 started, and I have to say I fought very hard for this rank. At first I got placed in gold, again which was very frustrating. But I got to platinum quick enough for me to start my climb. Things went up and down, and eventually it went all the way down. I was at the bottom, 2300 season rating. At that point I was about to give up. I didn't have a main hero at the time, so I kinda switched around, filled positions, which means I was put into a position that I wasn't comfortable with. So after weeks of doing bad, I decided to take things into my own hands. I put this video's title console version only because the gameplay on console and PC in this game is quite different. Not huge, but there's still a gap. Even with the aim assist the game offers you on console, it's still not the same difficulty that they have on PC, and that's why PC will always have a bigger competitive scene. But some of this advice that I'm about to go through may relate to you PC players because some of them are actually in general. So my point is, instead of relying 50% of your team, I decided to try and increase that percentage, which means to carry the team as much as possible. By carrying, I don't mean to go up 1 against 6 or any kind of Rambo terms, but more like making the team fight easier for your team as much as possible, that even silver can win. Now my pick for this situation is TRACER. I played maybe 99% of the time with TRACER to get from 2300 up to 3000 season rating, with most of the time solo queuing. I'll explain the reason why I choose this hero. So why TRACER? TRACER is one of the hardest heroes to kill on console. Because with the lack of aiming ability console players have, it makes it way harder for us to kill TRACER than it actually is to kill her on PC. Because of this, with practice you can actually take the advantage to be slightly more overpowered than other TRACERs on PC version. Why is she a good pick for carrying the team? And that's when I get into the topic solo queuing. Solo queuing is one of the easiest meta to win on console. Now you might be wondering, how does that make sense? Shouldn't it be easier to win if you play with your premates? Well, yes and no. Playing with premates means you'll guarantee have the communication that you need. That's true, but the downside is that you cut off the advantage that you could possibly get by also having the enemy team communicating. Most of you already know this by now. By teaming up, the matchmaking will put you up against a full team as well, which means if you team up as 3 players, you most likely will get an enemy team that also has 2 premates of 3, and so on. Now you might be wondering, why is this bad for TRACER? Well, playing as TRACER, you'll be flanking a lot in the enemy team's backline, which means your target will mainly be their DPS and supports. In order to make your flank easier, you'll need to cut the enemy team's communication completely if possible, and that's why I choose to solo queue, because you don't want the enemy team to be yelling, "Guys, the TRACER is behind us," which will make the whole team turn around and jump on you. Console players barely communicate on gold and platinum. You'll find yourself playing mostly without communications, and high-ranked players know how much information helps in terms of winning, and that's why you'll find diamond players have their microphone on and actually communicate with you. So if you solo queue, you'll likely get put up against a team full of solo queue players as well. That will make it easier for you to play TRACER, and here are the reasons why. Because the enemy frontline will not be aware of you until you already kill somebody, or everybody in the backline. And that's why you'll be doing a lot better. After the front line realize that their backline has already been wiped out, they're starting to lose focus, and our team can easily move in and finish both of their tanks out, or 3 if they are running a 3 tanks meta. As Tracer, you also have your pulse bomb quite quickly. Your main target most of the time will be try to stick it in the back of their enemy Reinhardt. Keep in mind that the bomb won't be able to one-shot the Reinhardt if it has full health, so take down a slight bit of his health before or after the bomb will do the trick. This whole Reinhardt bombing method will make a huge difference when it comes to fighting 6 versus 5 later on, with their team losing their biggest tank. In fact, everything you'll be doing as Tracer will make a huge difference if you play her right. Next thing is that, don't waste your time going one-on-one on an enemy Tracer or any other heroes that you know will take forever to kill, because you're leaving your team going 5 against 5 and that puts you back down to relying 50% winning chances on them, which means in this case, what's the point? Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that even though Tracer is hard to kill, there will always be a chance of you getting killed by a lucky shot due to how low your health cap is. So there's going to be a lot of things that you need to watch out from. For example, Pharah's rockets, Roadhog's hooks, Soldier's tactical visor, Jungrat's bombs, and well, you get the point. Another tips that I use to counter these heroes that I mentioned is to count their ammunition. As soon as they start to reload is when I usually go in and finish them off. For example, Pharah in this case, you just count her rockets and yeah, but for Soldier, it's not quite the same. It's harder to count anyway, but you get my point. There are a few things to keep in mind when you're out there flanking, is to know when to flank. In my opinion, the best time to flank has got to be the time when some of the enemy or some of your teammates engages, because most of the players will be focused on the front line and that's when it will be your time to shine and show their support that they picked the wrong main. Use your blink wisely, you don't want to use it too obvious and predictable. For example, if you blink right and you start walking to the right while shooting and you blink right again just to find Hanzo's arrow penetrate your skull, is that you can't really call that a lucky shot. Try and make it as unpredictable as possible. Sometimes even blinking into an enemy team makes them confused. As I mentioned, your ultimate is Pulse Bomb. Tracer is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest, to get their ultimate. You literally have it all the time. So don't be afraid to use it because you'll probably get it back in the next 20 seconds. But that obviously rely on your accuracy with your pulse pistols. The more you hit, the faster your Pulse Bomb charges, just like every other hero in the game. Another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're going up against a Widowmaker is her fucking wall hack. So pay attention and listen when she activates it. In that case, you'll have to stay put until it runs out before you can start flanking again. Even if you don't kill anyone in the backline, let's just say that the enemy are quite good at positioning themselves. Your main goal would to be buy time as much as possible. Do as much damage as possible for them to either fall back for healing or to stay stationary when they're attacking. Because kills doesn't win the game at the end, it's time. So buying as much time as you can is already a win. When it comes to capturing points, every capture points maps always have a choke point. Flanking to get on point by yourself will cause the enemy team to split up from the choke point to try and get you. Having at least 2 enemies coming after you will already put our team at advantage by having them going 5 against 4. So the more enemy you poke to come after you, the more chance of your team getting through the choke point for a better chance of winning. Playing as Tracer, even though there's going to be some problem that you can't avoid, for example Symmetra's turrets and Torbjorn's turrets, things like that prevents you from flanking, and that's why you always have to have at least another hero that you can play, just in case if they counter you really hard, you know, and you can't really pick that Tracer anymore. And by doing all those things that I mentioned in the video, it has helped me climb up from around 2,300 to 3,000 in a few days. You obviously won't win all the time, there'll always be losses, but the amount of chances will be so high that eventually you'll end up making progress at the end of every day. So that's it for me guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I sure hope it helped you, and hit that like button if it actually helped you in the game, and subscribe because this is a new channel and it will really help me out, and yeah, I'll catch you guys hopefully later. Peace.